Hey guys, Tyler Ansman here with Tyler Ansman Performance. So today we're going to talk about a complex you can use if you're having issues finding a good back leg pattern. All right. So first, let's kind of go over what a good back leg pattern looks like. First note I would give you is that this is for an external rotation kind of biased picture, okay? So that's the first piece. So what are we looking for from an optimal kind of like rear leg? So the first piece is we're looking for a center of mass shift, okay? So basically as that leg kick is coming up, the center of mass is moving forward. So what does that do for us? There's a couple of things. The first one is it allows us to shift that primary force vector to be a little bit more horizontal, okay? So we think about like the orientation of force during like a sprint, right? Acceleration, more horizontally based, and then max velocity, more vertically based, okay? So we want to get more horizontally based on this, okay? The second thing that it does for us is it also kind of adds kinetic energy to the system. So if we think about like a depth jump, for example, okay? At a certain height, most athletes are going to be able to drop off a box, hit it, and jump higher than they would be able to just from a regular counter movement jump. We can get the same effect from a good center of mass shift as well, all right? So that's kind of the two pieces for that. So the other thing that we're looking for from the back leg, all right, is like a hinge and coil, all right? So credit for this concept goes to Lance Wheeler, but basically what we're looking for is kind of getting into those hips and being able to coil those hips as well while we do it, okay? So this is a couple of things. One, there's really big muscles surrounding the hips. We have pretty great force potential here, okay? So the proximal muscles in general are big force producers, and that's what we're ultimately gonna look for from these, okay? The hinge kind of helps us get into those. The coil helps us put a pre-stretch on the internal rotators, okay? The hinge also helps put a pre-stretch on the hip extensors, okay? So we've got kind of that going on. So not only are we gonna take advantage of that added kinetic energy from the center of mass shift, we're gonna hopefully time that force production, the force production from the actual muscles with the kinetic energy kind of getting at that exact right point where we basically hit the gas, all right? And then we get into front foot strike and everything else happens. This is just gonna be about the back leg today. All right, but if you're struggling with that, here's what we can kind of do to work on this. It's just a pretty easy drill pairing that I've used with a couple of the guys and it's worked pretty well. All right, this is far from the only option, but here's what we're gonna do. So the first thing is going to be a band feed the mistake with corkscrew. All right, so again, this concept kind of comes from Lance Wheeler. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna put a band around your hips. All right, you're gonna get some tension pulling you forward. So it's trying to pull you forward into being more knee dominant. So it's gonna force you to kind of consciously get into your hips more. All right, and then what we're gonna do is from that position, keeping that foot, the big toe, the pinky toe, and the heel, pushing into the floor, we're gonna keep that stable back foot position, all right, at about the angle you would have on the rubber. All right, so you should kind of already have an idea of what that is for you by now. All right, and then we're gonna keep that knee stacked over that back ankle, and what we're gonna do is kind of coil those hips, all right, while we're in that hinged position. So we're just gonna go into the coil and then come back out, keeping that foot stationary, all right? The whole time the band is attempting to pull you forward. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into a hop squat hinge plus corkscrew, all right? So what we're trying to do is feel the hinge prior to making an actual throw. So you're gonna lightly go to the box on those hinges. And then you're gonna try to actively shift your center of mass and coil on the way through the throw, touching the box on the way through, all right? So if athletes struggle with a portion of this drill, it's often the center of mass shift, so an additional field drill can be added down the line to assist with this piece, but keep it simple to begin with, and you can always kind of layer from there. So give this complex a try if you're struggling to kind of change your rear leg pattern. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you've got questions related to remote or in-person training, drop us an email. Thanks for watching.